Hi guys, so due to the restrictions it's been a wee while since I actually filmed one of these for you. However, if I remember correctly, we were working on some script work, which was to just basically develop your improvisation skills, and we briefly discussed some basic camera work. Now, I know these lessons haven't exactly been the most performance based that you guys might be used to in drama. However, they are just as crucial in terms of developing you as an actor or in any area of this entertainment area. Now, this week I think you guys might have quite a lot of fun, or can have a lot of fun if you execute this correctly. So I want you to try to group together with anyone else who is interested in drama. Could be your friends, could be your family, or anyone that's just happy to help you with this small project. And I want you to create a short film. Now, this is accumulating the previous 5 weeks tapes that I've been working on for you. So I want you to develop a script, develop a character or multiple characters and their impact on each other. And I want you to work on basic camera techniques just using your iPhone. So once you've grouped together, make sure you establish a story, establish the characters. As I've always said, have a beginning, middle and end. So in the beginning, introduce your characters, establish them, what are their traits, what are their personalities, and in the middle, how is the story going to impact each character, and in the end, how they resolve the story that has influenced them. So my ideal example of a beginning, middle and end is The Goonies. In The Goonies is my favourite movie of all time, first off. So in the beginning, you are introduced to every single character and their trait. There's Chunk, who's the wee geeky guy in an arcade at the beginning. There's your Indiana Jones type character with all the tech. He's almost like James Bond. Every character has their own unique trait, and then you find out that one of them is going to have to sell their house because they're building a mall on it. And so what they do, they go find One Eye Willie's treasure. They find it. They're able to afford to keep the house. So the middle is the influence. The influence in the Goonies case is they have to save their house. How do they do that? They go find the treasure. And in the end, they find the treasure. Everything has to be linear and it has to make sense according to the previous situation. And everyone should have personality traits that, along with the story, influence others around them. Okay? So as always, before you start performing, whether it's for camera or on stage, you have to do your warm-ups. Now, filming for camera, or acting for camera I should say, is slightly different than acting for screen. In fact, it's majorly different. Instead of you trying to fill a massive theatre audience with your voice, it's a lot more direct and a lot more focused. So if you're using a close-up camera angle, then you're not necessarily going to have to be shouting to fill a room. Instead, you're using your voice to a lower volume, but containing as much pitch and as much tone to express a certain emotion. So instead of me using warm-up exercises to work on your projection, I'd like you guys to just work on 2 basic warm-ups. The siren, which is the one where we go up and down. That works your pitch, and it just allows you to have a wee bit of variety in how you're talking to someone, and it keeps it colourful. It doesn't make it monotone so you sound quite boring and you're annoying to listen to. It's colourful, it allows some range in how you are talking to someone. And so do that a few times. Do the siren, up and down, a few times. No, it sounds silly, but it does help that pitch. And some tongue twisters. Again, allows you to freely talk without tripping up on your words, and it's easy for an audience, or a viewer in this case, to listen to. So a few basic tongue twisters. To begin to toboggan, first buy a toboggan, but don't buy too big a toboggan. Too big a toboggan is not a toboggan to buy to begin to toboggan. Do that a few times, a bit faster. To begin to toboggan, first buy a toboggan, but don't buy too big a toboggan. Too big a toboggan is not a toboggan to buy to begin to toboggan. Smash that one. And she sells seashells on the seashore, she sells seashells on the seashore, she sells seashells on the seashore. Run through that a few times and just get the jaw loose. The articulator is working, and you guys should be ready to start performing. Now, again, similar to the voice, physicality is just as different when performing in front of camera as opposed to a studio audience on stage, because in order to express an emotion to an audience member right up the back of the theatre, you might have to express using your body language. If you're sad, you might be quite closed, or if you're happy and upbeat, your body language is going to be open and expressive. However, on camera you can afford to be a bit more natural physically, so it's not so much about expressing using all your limbs and all your body language and being all open. It's a wee bit more centred. A close-up camera angle can express sadness and it's all about the face. So using different facial expressions is the way to kind of express certain emotions. I always find sadness is particularly easier to film on camera than it is on stage, because it's making your face look sad. It's quite hard to make your entire body look sad. As I said earlier, it's make it a wee bit smaller, make it a bit more timid, but that can be mistaken for being shy. A shy person isn't necessarily sad, so it's a fine line there. So work on narrowing everything down, being a bit more minimalist with it, and just working on the facial expressions and just bringing everything smaller, okay? All physical body language smaller, always think that. So once you've grouped together, make sure everyone's chipping in every possible way, whether it's writing the story, everyone just chuck in a wee idea, try and influence the story in your own way, okay? You don't want it to be messy, but everyone work together. There should be no conflict over this either, okay? I don't want anyone arguing about, oh, I want my part in and your part out. Find a compromise. Find an area where you can fit a character arc within someone else's character arc, okay? You want a linear, continuous story, so everyone chip in their own ideas, but work together, okay? No conflict, just good old compromise. Think about character arcs, so narrow in on where, so how do they start and how do they end? It's very similar to the beginning, middle and end in terms of a story point of view. However, a character arc is how the beginning, middle and end influences that character. Do they start off shy and quite timid, and by the end, and because of what's happened to them throughout the story, are they a lot more expressive and a lot more happy and a lot more just energetic? Or are they fine in the beginning, and due to the impact of the story, do they have a small descent into madness? It's up to you. It's just a few ideas that I'm throwing out there. It has to have a character arc though. Every story should have a character arc. Otherwise, it's not understandable for an audience to watch and relate to and enjoy. A few tips I just want to give you guys when filming is film multiple different camera angles of the same moments. Now that can be quite repetitive for the actor. However, when it comes to an editing process, it will give you a lot more variety and it will make the scene a lot more interesting to watch, as opposed to just watching one camera angle back and forth. Have a camera angle here, maybe have a close-up, have a wide shot, just a few different shots to express different things that's relatable to the dialogue that the actor is expressing at that point. So if you've got an iPhone, you might not have it downloaded on your phone automatically, although some of you might. I believe my phone had it automatically, but some others have to download it. But Imovie, it's a free editing or video editing app. Work on that a wee bit. It can be quite tricky to work at first. However, I know a lot of you that might have TikTok or any other kind of social media, they might get quite used to adjusting certain clips already. However, Imovie, it allows you the option to import your clips or multiple clips, sequence them. It gives you the option of several different transitions. I would recommend for the beginning and end to use the dissolve transition. However, during any conversation moments, I would just have no transition, because if you have a transition between someone saying hello and another person saying hello, and it's a fade away and then a fade back, it might seem a bit off. So no transition during any conversational moments. However, transitions in appropriate places. So the end of a scene could fade to black, that's using the dissolve transition, or there's slide transitions and things like that. Okay, so I'm just going to give you guys a couple wee examples of how you can be filming yourself if you don't have someone else to hold the camera for you, which I would recommend because obviously it's a wee bit easier to get certain angles. If you're wanting a close-up, you don't exactly want to be filming in a selfie mode. However, I will recommend a few things. Make sure your phone is landscape, not portrait. I know a lot of people that are used to TikTok now are filming in portrait. That's not how you really want a film to be seen. You want it to be landscape. So you literally can use anything as a stand for your phone in a video. Okay, so you might just want to take your camera and bring in a chair, adjust your camera angle, make sure you've adjusted yourself. So there you go, I've got quite a downward angle there. I don't quite want it to be a downward angle, so I might adjust it slightly more, right? So it's more appropriate for me to be lower. So at this point it's a wee bit more closer to my face. Make sure the camera angle is focused on the centre point of what you want it to be. You might want it to be centred on your body, however I'd probably expect you guys to be focused on the face. So make sure your face is central to the screen, or I would recommend slightly left to the screen. You tend to find a lot of cinematic movies and stuff, the character is always slightly left when they're actually talking to someone. So hit record, do your piece of dialogue. So I'm just going to continue talking to you guys right now, and then we can finish that part and then adjust the camera angle slightly. Okay, so let's take the stand here. Obviously, again, if you guys have someone to hold the camera for you, that's even better. However, in this case, it's just me. So again, got myself here. I'm going to be a slight bit closer to the camera this time. Okay, so it's now slightly more close up. I'm slightly left to the camera screen. Hit record. There you go. Slightly left to the camera screen. Still delivering the dialogue. Naturally, I'm not looking at the camera. However, I would always recommend looking slightly right to the camera. Okay, so the camera is still getting the full emotional expression of your face. However, they're not seeing you looking right down their souls like that. Okay, and then I'll talk you guys through the editing process. In Imovie, we'll create a new project in Movie, and we'll just import our two clips. Okay, in our two clips, this is us talking here. So when I mentioned the arrow that's in the centre point, we're actually talking about this line here that is basically the playing point of the video. So if we're wanting to cut and delete an area, we can watch it back. See, that's it transitioning, it's playing. We can highlight that area, we can split it, we can delete this area, and we can edit this transition. So that would be a cross dissolve, which gives it this kind of smooth transition there, as opposed to no transition when it's like that, where it's just a jump. Okay, so it can take a wee bit of playing around a wee bit. However, it's literally just a few wee instructions like that. It's quite basic to work, and for you guys, I think it's important just to experiment with it, play around with it, and I'm sure you get the hang of it. When you finish your film, I think it's important for each of you guys, either as a group or just if you don't want to watch it as a group, I can understand that. Just watch it yourself. It is important to watch it yourself though. It's important to be constructive with every area of it that you can associate yourself with. So whether you think your emotional performance could be slightly better, if you think you could have experimented slightly more with different camera angles, anything like that, it's important for you guys to be watching these at this time and just trying to look at ways that you can possibly develop if you were to sit down and make a short film again, or if someone else had already prepared the script and they were making a short film and they had cast you in it, it's important that you know, okay, well, I've made one of these in the past and I wanted to develop in this area. If it's my emotional delivery, if my accent could have been improved, if my articulation was poor, then you work on your tongue twisters, you work on your accents, you work on any areas that you decide that you need improving in. And that's that, guys. I wish you the best of luck making your short film. It can be really fun as long as you stay organised and work together, okay? Don't be falling out with anyone over this. I can understand that some egos might get in the way, but it's all about working together on this fun project, okay? Hope you guys are staying safe, and I hope I can see you guys again in the theatre soon. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.